it says something about Berkshire. There are, all kinds of public companies and wealthy public companies and throughout America, and there are certainly cases where in one family somebody has made a very large amount of money and is devoting it to philanthropy, or much of it to philanthropy, such as the Walton family would be the number one thing in Walmart, and certainly Bill did the same thing Bill Gates did the same thing at Microsoft. But what is unusual about Berkshire is that a very significant number of Berkshire shareholders located all over the United States, not just in Omaha, but the number of different Berkshire holders who have contributed $100 million or more to their local charities, usually with people not knowing about it, I think is many multiples of any other public company in the country. It's not more multiples than Bill's put a whole lot into philanthropy, and I don't know the details of the family, but clearly there's a huge sum of money that the Walmart family, I'm sure, has done all kinds of things philanthropic and will continue to do it. But I don't think you'll find any company where a group of shareholders who aren't related to each other, so many of them have done something along the lines of what Ruth did a few weeks ago, just to exchange a little piece of paper that they've held for 5 decades, and they've lived well themselves. They haven't denied their family anything, but they don't feel that they have to create a dynasty or anything, and they give it back to society. And a great many do it anonymously. They do it in many states. To some extent, we see some concentration of it in Nebraska, because generally, when you're giving away a lot of money, they call it, in the philanthropic world, they call it absorption capacity. And the truth is, it's very hard to give away $1 billion to $10 at a time to people who are needy or something of the sort. And so large institutions have this absorption capacity, which tend to be universities or colleges or that sort of thing. And some philanthropies are much more imaginative than others. But the one thing most of them want to do it anonymously, so I can't tell their specific stories. But I have to say, one thing that was astounding is that the same day we bought $1 billion worth of Berkshire Class A stock from Ruth, and I guess we were actually buying it from the school at that point, because he's just given them so the transaction was with them. But Mark Millard in our office bought $1 billion from them, but he also bought $500 million worth of stock from somebody else that nobody will ever have heard of, and in a different state, and I won't elaborate beyond that. But we have had a very significant number of people, and there's more to come. And obviously they had to be people that came in early, or their parents did, or their grandparents did. But they've all lived good lives. They haven't denied themselves anything. I mean, they have second homes, but they generally, well, in fact, I would say that almost universally, people knew them in the community and everything, but they've used what they saved. They denied themselves consumption themselves. That's what savings are, is consumption deferred. And they've given, they've financed everything all over the country. And usually they like to do it anonymously. I outed my sister when I wrote about her in the annual report, but Bertie's here today, and I told her she should wear a T-shirt or something that said "No solicitors allowed" or something. But they just do it, and it's really both Charlie and I felt it's really fun to work for a group of people like that rather than for index funds or for hedge funds or whatever it may be. I mean, you're just seeing what people actually, it sort of restores your faith in humanity, that people defer their own consumption within a family for decades and decades, and then they can do something like enable I think it may end up being 150 people to pursue different lives, and talented people and diverse people to become a dream of being a doctor and not have to incur incredible debt to do it, or whatever may be the case. There's a million different examples, and I want you to know that you're a unique, actually, group of shareholders among public companies, as far as I know, in terms of the way you've deferred your own consumption while living fine to help other people, and it takes a lot of years, but it can really amount to something very substantial. And what Ruth did was, at roughly my age, she looked at a little piece of paper which actually was a claim check on the output of others in the future, and she said, instead of the output being for her, that the output would be for a continuing stream of people for decades and decades and decades to come, that were having a different life in the pursuit of becoming doctors than they otherwise would have. And Berkshire has been, of course, her husband Sandy contributed substantially to Berkshire's record. Sandy was a wonderful partner to have, so there was both input by him, and then there was deferred consumption by his family, and then there was ultimately this final gift to Albert Einstein. And like I said, the same day, there was only $500 million. It'll go to in a different way, but it's happening all over, and I don't think any companies like that. So I just want to tell you that it's inspiring to work for a group of shareholders. And Becky,
please like and subscribe. Thank you.